Welcome back to our little video tutorials about the Miclin CS3. In the last video we created a station in our oval, and as you can see I have changed it a little bit. I made the station a little bit wider and I put a station on the other side. For now we are going to concentrate on the bottom half, so the first station that we created with the two signals and the two turnouts. And the upper station we will address in a later video. For now we make sure that the both turnouts are set to straight, and we will not use this station at this point. So this tutorial is about contacts and events. To run the train here on the oval, we can just put a train on it, and as I show you, click on one of the locomotives, give it a speed, and it will run around. But nothing will happen with the things that we are put on our trackboard. And after all, we bought the CS3 so we can run trains automatically, or do certain events with the trains, some events with the trains. So in order to make trains do certain things, we have to create events, and by doing so, if I click here events, then these are all the events that I use for my layout. And as you can see, there are screens and screens full of it, so there are plenty, and this is only about, well, I guess 30% of what I need, so I have to go a little bit further. What are events? Events, I can show you, are ways that when they are triggered, that they are there is a trigger button, a button to push, or something has to happen on the track for those events here in this container will start working. So when we take a look at this event, it means when I push a reset button, I made a reset button and I pushed it, all the turners will turn to red. There's one that stays green, and all my signal lights will turn red. So I can run a how do you call it? A test simulation, and put it back in the original state. So therefore I've created this. But there are several more events. These are these are the track events. This where a train, what turners should be turned for a train to run from one station to another station. When I look at this one, for example, it means I have to close it or I can read it. Well, this is at HL1A to 2, this is Dutch for 2, HL1B via DD1, and it means, for me, it means what has to happen for a train to run from this station. In English it will be Forest Valley, and first track, and then position A to Forest Valley, first track, and position B. And it has to go via this station. It's called Demidorp. And when I open this, it is manual mode, you see here. So you have to click it, or you can use it in what's called a macro, I will show you later. And when you click it, all these turnouts will switch to its position. These signals will go to green, and right at the end, this is the signal for that station HL1A. When that turns green, then the train is moving through HL1B by means of the turnouts that in a way they are set in this container. So how we are going to create those events, and what do we need? Well, look at that first. I will close this one up here, and I want at this point 2 trains running this oval. When one train enters this station, this train that is waiting here before this stoplight will start automatically his round, and when it's back it will trigger this train, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, how do we do that? First we have to think what all should happen. If a train enters here, let's say here, this is track 1, it enters track 1 and holds for this signal light, then those turnouts have to switch to the upper track, and after that this signal has to go green, so this train can move out of the station, and when it clears the station it has to close the track behind him. So red again. It makes its round, comes here, enters the same where it left, enters it, pulls up at this stoplight, and by doing so it will change the turnouts again, change this signal, and this train will run its course, comes back. Of course, when it leaves the station the signal has to turn red. When it comes back it will automatically change those turnouts, and so on and so on and so on. Now, how do we achieve this? We achieve this by means of events. And for the events to take place, you have to click them manually. I don't want that. I want them that it goes automatically. So we need a third item. We have turnouts and signals here, but we need another item on the tracks, and that is called contact points. And the contact points are connected to your actual tracks, section of tracks, and when a train enters there it creates a little shortcut and a device that goes through the S88 bus. Will trigger anything you want on the on your layout. So how do we create contacts? Well, actually in the same way as we created these articles. So when I click edit and I click edit article list, you see here a lot of contact points that I use on my layout. Okay, it is the same screen, by the way, as well, where we can find our articles. Just by clicking here, the solenoid accessories are our articles, and here are our test 1 and test 2 that we created, and test S1 and S2. And you see here also the both turnouts I created for the upper station. Well, to create a contact, when I go to contact, it goes the same way as when I would create articles. Go to the back of the list in this case, click the plus, and how you call it, a contact is made for you, and it is called test C1. And it takes a test for the last thing that we created. It was of course a test T1 or a test S1. It uses the test, and it says here I use C for contact 1. So we do not have to change anything. When we look here at the bottom, you can see the name here, and here is bus 1 module 3 contact number 1. What does it mean? Different from the solenoid, where we have a name and a protocol and an address. A contact point uses the bus 88 from the CS3, and on that bus I hooked up my modules. And if you look at the S88, what we will do in a later video, you will notice that there are 16 contact points on an S88. So these modules have 16 contact. When I take the first one here, it says bus 1, and the first module hooked up on bus 1, and contact number 1. This one is the MDC1 is connected to the first module, the first S88 that is connected to bus 1, and it's called contact number 1. So our contact point is, when I click it, is on the same bus. The bus is only the hookup to the S88, and it counts the number of modules. So when you connect them in series, every time you connect a module, this one will go one up. So it's the third module, and it is contact number 1. The last one I use in my layout is this one. The reset is not quite a contact, but again in the later video I will explain what these are. But they work on the same principle as a contact. And this is on my second module, and it is the last contact, number 16. And when I click here, you see automatically it goes to 3 and contact number 1. So we need 2, test C1 and test C2 for our bottom stations. Okay, for now that's enough. So I created my contacts. How do I place them? Again, same as the articles. Just edit your trackboard, scoot this one down, this one up, so you can see where the contacts are. They were the last ones in this case, so this is test C1. I drag it here, and I take this one, test C2. And there you have it. I dragged the contacts on our trackboard. Now I have to place them, of course. I was a little bit too fast, so same way as the articles, just drag them on the track. Here one, and on C2 here. Okay, a little bit back. So well, there you have it. I close this one, and now we have our oval with the station, and with our turnouts and our signals, and 2 contact points. And these contact points I'm going to use later on in my events, so things will happen. Now where to start? Again, so if they are yellow, it means that the contact point is occupied, it's activated. So in this case, here's a train, you can see it is yellow, so it's waiting for the signal. The turnouts are good, so this train, it means the train runs around on the oval, enters the station on this side, activates this contact point, and by activating this, I want this that this train can move. So both turnouts have to switch, and this one has to go to green. And at that point, this train can leave the station. And when it leaves, you will see that the contact point is no longer occupied, so it will deactivate. Both the states, activation and deactivation, are what you call trigger points. So in this case, when it is triggered to go deactivated, I can use that trigger to tell this signal, hey, the train is leaving, now you have to switch back to red. Now, the track is closed behind it, this train makes its rounds, enters here the station, activates this contact point, and by activating this contact point, I'm telling the CS3, well, you have to change back those turnouts, and you have to change this signal to green, so this train can leave. And when it leaves, this triggers then that this signal has to turn back to red again, so the track is closed. So this runs as long as you do not stop it. It will 2 trains run on this oval without any problems. Now, and how do we the things that we just said? How do we make them occur? Well, we do that by using events and to create events. So when I open this one, you'll see a screen with a lot of events, and these are all my events, and we are going to create our own events. I will close this again. So I've clicked this again, and now there is a little submenu coming out, and we are going to add our first event. So we click on Add Event, and a screen pops up where we can put our events in. Now, what will we see? We see a name here, we see a trigger point here, and we see a container here, and some add and copy and record and whatever you want with it. So first, what we're going to do, and that's very, I forget it all the time, but I hope that when I show it you, that you will not forget it. We are not going to change the name first. We're going to click here on manual mode. Now a submenu will open, and this is very important. Here it says group, and you can choose a group from here. Now I want to put it in test. There is no test yet, so I click here on again. I don't know why it's called again. Don't ask me. We're going to call our group test. Okay. Now, group test. Okay. Now we can change our name. And what is the first thing we want to do? We want to create the events that turns the signals back to red when the train is leaving. So we'll call this one test S1, and I type in a lot of spaces. I show you why. Red. So okay, and I say that's it, check mark, and there's our little name, test S1 red. Now, why all these spaces? I will close this one, and then I will click here, and I go to our test group, and now we can see the thing that we created. And now, that is because if I didn't put all the spaces in between, it will go on here, and you cannot read this, because red will partly be obscured by this X. And furthermore, if you don't do it, it breaks off, and you'll all get a really strange looking text here. So I will open this one again, red. Therefore I use the spaces in between. And usually I say, well, from here to here is the upper line. When you start here at the R until the U is the second line, and the U to the end is the third line. And more lines you cannot read on your events. So try to keep it to 3 lines and in 3 sections. Okay, there's here manual mode. But as we stated, I want this light S1 to turn back to red, and I see now I put the S1 here and the S2 there. I will change those quickly, because close this one, edit this one, edit the trackboard, scoot this away, put this here, put this one here. So now it is correct. I'm sorry. Back to our events. Edit this event. You always have to, when you first open it, it will this menu. If you want to work with this one, you have to say edit event, or else you cannot work with it. So, where were we? Okay, manual mode, we said, but I want this one. So this, when it's green, I want to that it switches back to red as soon as this contact point is deactivated. So I have to use this contact point. So I click on it and I drag it onto manual mode. Now it's here. It's test C1. Now I click again on it. A menu opens. You can see we put it in group test, and up here you can see the position of the contact point. We want it to be gray, so we click it, submenu opens, and we click the gray one. It means now it is deactivated, and this all means that this trigger is activating everything that's going to be in the container when it is deactivated, when the trigger is, when the contact point is switched to deactivation. Okay. And what one do we want to happen? We want to happen that this one, this signal here, turns back to red. So we drag this one in here, and well, it is red now, and if it was not red, we click on it and we change it to the state we want to have it. In this case red, so it is okay, it is red. So this means we have created an event, and the event states that if this light is green, test 1 is green, and the contact point is activated, and this light is green. As soon as the contact point is deactivated, this light will turn to green. So we're going to try it out. So close it, and don't forget to close the edit, because otherwise nothing will work. Close this one. So I say this one is activated. I turn this one to green. Now I deactivate it, and the signal turns to red automatically. So we make the same one for this configuration, the C2 and the S2. Again, click on events, and now you can see there is a little plus here. It's our test group, and there's a little plus here. So we click on the plus. Again, a menu opens. First, click here, choose. Now we can choose test here. Okay. Now we can change the name, and that will be test S2, and go to the R, red. Okay. And what is it that we want to happen? Well, we want it to happen when the test C2 is deactivated, so we click on it and we make sure that it is gray, so it's triggered on deactivation, and we drag this one here, and it is already red. So okay, close this one, close this one. I will turn both the contacts to activation, will turn both the signals to green. And now if I deactivate the contact point, the signal that is on that track will turn to red, and here the same. So those are our two first events. But we not only want to change a light back to red. In our case, we want to run two trains. So again, we are going to events, edit. We add an event. Okay, we put it in test, of course, test. Okay, and now what is it that we want? I want this to happen when a train enters here. It activates this one. It has to turn those two turnouts to red, and then it has to turn this light to green. Okay. So it has to happen when this contact is activated. So I drag this contact here. This is the trigger for me. And when I click it, now I want it to be activated, so I'll leave it at yellow. Okay. Okay, now when C1 is activated, then those two turnouts and this light has to change. Where it has to change to? So this one, and it we want to leave a train from the upper track, and it has to enter on the upper track again. So both turnouts has to turn to red, and they are here, so we do not have to change anything. But we want the train to depart here on S2, so this one we have to turn to green. Okay. And all this are actions. And action condition will go into this on a later stadium. Okay, close this one. I will close this one. I will close this one, and this one. So, what is it that we have said? I will turn those two to green. We have said a train enters here the track and activates track C1. Now, if I click this, watch what happens. Hop. Both the turnouts are switched to red, and this one is turned to green. So, this train, there was a train, is leaving, and we made our previous event, so if this train is leaving, hop, the light is switched to red again. So when the train comes back here, it stops automatically, and it will activate this one, and this one has to, when this one is activated, it has to switch the both turnouts back to straight, and switch this light to green, so this train can take its course. So let's make this events, edit, add an event, change it to test, put it in test, I have to say. Okay. Okay, what is it that I want? This train enters here, so C1 of this train is entering here. So it is C2 that I want, and it has to trigger on activation. Okay, it's yellow. What is it that I want to happen? So those two turnouts has to change, and this signal has to change. It has to go straight, both turnouts, so I have to change this position to green, and this one too. Change the position to green, okay, and change the signal to green as well. So everything is green in our case. Now, does it work? I close this one, close the edit, and close this screen, and I deactivate this one, so because the turnouts are set for this train, so this train is running its course here, enters here this track, activates it, both switches are turned to green, this light is turning to green, this train is moving, so the light is close behind him, the track is close behind him, the train runs his course, comes back at the station, activates this one, both turnouts are switched again, this light is green, so this train can move, and when it moves it will close the track behind him, red, so it comes back, and so on, and so on, and so on. As long as you don't stop it, these two trains will run around and around and around. So there you have it, our first events and our first context that we created. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something from it. And I see you in the next video. Thank you.